Page 127, Cockles and Mussels. On page 124 and 125, they're introducing you some more things about chords. More specifically, triads. When I said before, a triad is a three-note chord. Any three-note chord could be a triad. Tri means three, like in tricycle or triplane or something, three. And you'll see them in the root, what we call root position. That's their basic position. It's every other note on the piano. I mean, black notes can get involved, but it's still basically every other note. Three notes, chords. Let's go with C major. C major uses the white keys, and that's basically what they're doing. They're just going up C major. Okay, and same thing with the black. What they want you to do is play it here. I'm lifting the hand each time. Flex the wrist when you do that. Don't play with a stiff wrist. That causes tension. We don't want tension. We've got to stay loose here. I'll come back more about technique about playing these a little bit later. Now, when a chord is in root position, like it's every other note, the bottom note involved is the name of the chord. So this is a C chord, D chord, E chord, F, G, A, B, C. Now there's a little more to it than that, but let's just get this first. We can add more later, all right? Not grab everything all in one shot. Now in a chord, you have the root position, or where the notes in a scale, in a C scale, the notes would be a 1, 3, 5. That's the step of the scale for each note, a 1, 3, 5. Well, there's other names and you'll hear them, so we'll get them. You can say this is the root, this is the third, and this is the fifth of the chord, not the scale. We're just talking the chord. So I go here. Well, this is the fourth step of the scale. But for an F chord, this is the root, that's the third, and that's the fifth. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the fifth. You're counting up from the root. And they all work the same way. So you got a 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. All of these, as far as the intervals of the chord within the chord itself goes. Now there's more to it than that, as I said, but let's just get this much first. Now, Cockles and Mussels. Look it over. Four lines long, no repeat sign or nothing. We're going to play it straight through. Treble and bass clef, 3, 4 times. Got a pickup beat. We're coming in on beat 3. There should be another measure with 2 beats in it, and there is at the bottom. Right hand first. Check the fingering and the rhythm and all that. You're starting here. 1 and 2 and 3. Remember dotted rhythms? Hopefully you do. If you don't, please go back to where they introduced them and go through the lesson again on dotted rhythms. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So forth. You go through and get the right hand. Then for the left hand, pick up beat 3 and then a chord, C chord, and then you get a rest, and then you come up to a D chord. Then you'll get a rest because you're holding these down 5 counts, then a rest. Then you come up again. We're kind of going up, ain't we? Here, F. The end of the second line is here, and then lift up. Just lift up and move down. 1, 2, 3, and you do it again. Oh, isn't this fun? Put the hands together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2. Make sure when you play that last note in the second full measure, the left hand comes up, it's got a rest. That C is by itself. The left hand moved up, the right hand didn't. how that works? So you go through and put the hands together, and then go back through it a few million times and get rid of the hesitation, so it is a steady beat all the way through. Then as far as articulation goes, is the phrasing for the melody. The first note is melody. And they got this in? That's fine if you want to. According to the words, there's no break there, but if you want to lift up, lift up. My tendency is to connect all of that together because really it's all one phrase. Then you lift up because I'm following the words, and if there had a comma or something in the words, then maybe I could lift up. But it's just, if you were going to say it, you know, would you put a break in there somewhere? I'd play it the same way I would say it. But just for practice, let's go ahead and lift up like they're saying, because we can lift up like taking a breath. So both hands come up together. Lift up. Now we have a problem here in the arrangement. It's the arrangement. And that is, I want to connect this at the beginning, because all that's melody. It should be connected. I can't, because I need that note again in the chord. I have to lift up to play it again. So there's a little silence between those two. Now, you learn it the way it's written first. However, afterwards, since it's an arrangement, after you got to know it, if you want to rearrange it, you're always welcome to do that. Now, what I typically do in this case is I simply tie that note over the G, and I just add the other notes to it. That way I can connect it. See, it's connected. And that's how I solve that problem. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do it the way it's written. We'll try and keep that silence as short as possible. Then we have the dynamics. Well, again, as I've said a million times or so, it applies to the melody. Whatever you think moderately loud is. Of course, they give you two dynamics. They don't need that. All you need is the MF, and you're supposed to know what to do. Except that first note is melody now. So it's here, soft. Can you? So. Again, anytime you have the melody, you bring it out. Then speed, well, moderately slow, I don't know about that. If you're going to sing it, kind of depends on how much beer or wine I've had to drink as to how fast I'm going to take this. But we'll keep it fairly slow. Not slow, just sort of slow. Also, you can shape these phrases as getting into interpretation. At the end of a sentence, when we're talking, we generally come off of it. You get a little softer at the end. You drop it off. You can do the same thing in music. Look at the second line here at the end. You get a little softer. You get a little softer at the end. Shape that phrase and then start the next phrase back up again. So it's here. Then start. You have to experiment with it, and you have to get past the mechanics where you start feeling this music, and then you feel the interpretation and turn it into music. It's just not note, 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 note. There's a fermata at the end. Just hold those out for as long as you think they should be held. I do it with a metronome. I'll just double the value of the quarter note, and I'll hold it for 2 counts, and that's close enough. There's also a retardando there where you can slow down. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just slowing down. Doesn't say how much to slow down. You just slow down. You feel it. That, again, that's interpretation on how much you slow down. Take a look at the words there at the last line, the last couple measures. You see a comma. It's alive. It's Cockles and Mussels. Alive. Alive-o. If you want to lift up and bring that out in the music, so it's the last line. If you want, experiment with that. Have some fun with it. The articulation given are suggestions. This is an arrangement. It's a vocal piece. It's an arrangement. It's not like classical music where you need to do what the composer told you to do. This is different. But we learn it the way it's written first, and then you experiment with it and see how else you can play it. They're showing a little pedal at the end here. I disagree with that. I really do. I would encourage you, just don't pedal this at all. I see no reason to add overtones at the end, the last minute. I want to die away. I don't want to add stuff. I want to take it away. I didn't put in overtones anywhere else, so I don't see any point in putting them in at the end. However, I could also play this like that. Now, if both of those demonstrations sounded the same to you, then I encourage you to listen more carefully because they were quite different. Different in several places. And that's what you're after in piano playing. You're listening to these little details. That makes you a better musician and a better piano player. I'd like to play this with you slowly. Let's just double check everything. I'm going to play it just like it's written, except I'm not going to pedal it at all. I'll give us 2 counts. I'm going to play both hands about the same. I'm not doing dynamics. So let's just try it slowly together. We're just checking to make sure you have the correct notes and the correct rhythm. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2